National NFL analyst Ross Tucker with his read of the Browns head coaching search.
I feel like for Browns fans, it's probably a letdown because they probably would have rather had John Harbaugh or maybe even Jesse Minter, who seems to be, the hottest shot, I guess, of the coordinators. Let me throw another name at you. What about Sean McDermott?
Yes, we've been discussing it. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Well, yeah. Why would you not talk to Sean? Like Sean McDermott. Okay, the book on him is he's a good coach, and they had a lot of success, but he got fired because they couldn't get over the hump. I mean, the Browns are just trying to get to the hump. When he took over in Buffalo, they hadn't made the playoffs in 17 years? Something like that? 99 to 2017? Something like that. 18 years maybe? I feel like on some level, he's the perfect guy to bring in. He sure as heck is worth a conversation. And so I would definitely talk with him. I think Schwartz would do a good job. I'm not one of those guys that thinks just because it didn't work out one place that they shouldn't get another chance somewhere else. Obviously, the Titans felt the same way, which is why they hired Robert Saleh.
Jeff, I like those ideas. McDermott, we'll see. Is he interested in coming in and trying to, again, rebuild from scratch? And I don't mind Schwartz as a head coach. I really don't.
Look, we all can agree that we know one thing. We know one guy who absolutely wants this job and would take it, and that is Jim Schwartz. There's no question about it. And I think he's so invested in that defense, and I think there is probably definitely, some rabbit ear coming from some players on that defense who, if they were given the opportunity to speak to Andrew Berry, to speak to the Haslams, speak to anyone in the front office, I think those guys would probably pull pretty hard for their guy in Jim Schwartz. They would. McDermott's an interesting name, but you want to talk about a guy that really feels like maybe, hey, I'm going to take a year to reset. I mean, what did he go, like 98 and 50?
Yep.
Something like that. And then, there were rumblings, obviously. And then, of course, with, whatever they tried to do this week with a press conference up there, it's bad enough you fire the guy, but it's even worse that you try to making fun of him and say things that were factually untrue, which is why social media is the best, because you try to point the finger on the coaching staff, but meanwhile, there's literally video of the general manager telling you why he thinks Keon Coleman would be great in the second round and his slow 40 might have gotten you there. He really feels like a reset guy. And the other thing is, and I don't want to disrespect, look, I'm a Browns fan just like the rest of you, but you really think McDermott, if I'm McDermott, it's like, what? I went 98 and 50. I was in the playoffs every year. We probably should have beaten the Denver Broncos. And this is my next step? I didn't get I didn't go down a rung or two on the ladder. I got thrown off the ladder for McDermott. I just don't know if that's the fit. And the other thing is, because it's later in the process for a guy like McDermott, and he's going to come in, and I don't think Jim is going to stay under that circumstances. So now not only is he coaching a team with a lot of issues, he's also got to put together a staff pretty deeply. I just don't look. I think we'd all have no problem with McDermott, but it seems a little late in the game, to get into the McDermott business. And again, if I'm McDermott, I'm going to take a year away. There's a lot of stress, from what he did in those years with Buffalo. And if it's the opportunity, hey, I'm still getting paid. You know what I'm saying? I owe my family a lot of my time that I have not been present for. And you know what? I will be one of the top names, in next year's cycle. Maybe that's a better route for him to go. Again, we spoke the Monday when this all went down, and obviously Stefanski moved on. And I told you there was going to be an issue because I think Jim Schwartz wanted the job. Obviously, Jim Schwartz has shown us that he wants this job, and it creates a big issue. This is basically Jim Schwartz saying, look, I want to marry you guys. And if they choose somebody else, that's really hard to come over. yeah, maybe $5-6 million a year as a coordinator could fix that break in his heart. But I think the thing is, it's more of, I told you I wanted this. You're taking people you don't know anything about and you're ready to give it to them. I've been here for a couple of years and I've given you the best I got. This scenario, and again, I don't necessarily see the outrage from fans. I think the outrage is fake because I think you had higher expectations than you should have.